have my weapon. I'm not concerned.
As soon as you flick it back and forth and realize what you're holding, little Oscar like reacts to it. Like he spreads his legs and kind of like gets down and like scuttles over, kind of like how a cat does, getting excited.
I wave it in front of him. There you go, buddy.
Bruce, knock it off. Get me the ball over.
Balrog, you are having
You
a
deserve
hard
it, you
time
stupid
standing. As he is playing with in front of you and...
And then I just throw it.
Okay. Balrog, you are along for the ride until he picks it up and finishes up. It only takes a few seconds, but you do end up going to the other side of the street as he flung it through.
Oh, good.
Okay.
I'm just starting with these.
Yep, Bruce, that's what you find. They pretty much got to everything before you. So what you guys see, specifically Balrog, because you're towards the back, Balrog, that's what you see. You see in front, all right? Bruce, you don't really, you're above everyone by like 6-7 inches, but it's kind of hard to see off in the distance. Steve, where in this crowd are you?
I'm going to try to work my way towards where I heard Sheldon's voice.
Okay, so Sheldon was towards the center. You made your way towards him. You can't find him, but because it's still in a crowd and they've kind of re-immobilized, you find yourself towards the middle, but you are close to him as he is making his way towards the front where the other gentleman who was speaking on the pedestal is also at the front of the group.
Okay, so I guess I kind of try to work my way towards the front.
Okay, you're at the front. Your mob group starts working its way down towards the town hall. That's the direction in which you're heading, okay? And since this whole mob has began, remember there's soldiers afoot. Some of the soldiers start creating a line at the end of the road, as if like a riot brigade trying to quell an angry mob. And they have their shields together in front, and they have their swords, and they are shoulder to shoulder. Roughly about 18 of them. The mob keeps moving towards. Now the mob is at a standstill about 20 feet from the soldiers, who then put the swords next to the shields and act as if you come any closer, we'll stab. Sheldon yells out, "No killing! We just want to talk to Girth!" And this whole mob says, "Yeah!" And people are yelling. Anything you guys want to do with this? Are you guys pretty much staying pretty low-key right now?
Yes, that's my plan, personally.
Okay.
I would like to, if I can, I don't know like what the formation of this mob is, right? I don't know if they're taking up the entire like length of the streets, but if I can maneuver past them with Oscar, because, riding is significantly quicker to try to get in the front.
Yeah, so it's pretty much left and right, but you can, with your bird, you can get to the front. It's just going to take a little bit.
Okay.
So you're going to make your way to the front. Okay.
Yep.
Bruce, are you going to follow along with him and just kind of use his bird as the divider?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine.
You guys are going to make your way up there, and what you hear is the soldiers kind of taking a step forward. And taking a step forward, and taking another step forward, and they're moving their line, and they every time they take a step, they slam the swords on the front of the shields, and then reset, and then take another step and slam. It's basically like an intimidating factor, like dispel. And Sheldon up front is like, "You don't scare us. We're ready to fight." And he lights a Molotov and throws it. And this Molotov breaks on the front of this liquid fire, breaks on the front of the shield, and doesn't catch any of them on fire. But him throwing it does make one of the soldiers very irate. And one of the soldiers then throws a concoction into the crowd. And that concoction explodes. And that concoction is a gaseous form as soon as it lands, and begins to spread, and people begin coughing. And as soon as that gas begins to spread, you hear a famous little voice go, "Oh, let's fucking kill him!" and begins to just charge as the mob is angry and charges at the soldiers. A fight is now ensuing. I need to know since you guys are on the front lines, your intention. Are you joining the fight, or what are you doing specifically?
Personally, Bruce does not wish to join the fight. I'm just going to stand back and just watch this all happen. That's my intention.
I just need to know intentions.
Steve's kind of charging forward with the group, but is not trying to engage.
So you're kind of like charging, but then like slowing your foot as people pass you.
Yeah.
Kind of okay. All right.
Balrog
Balrog.
look like part of the group, but not.
Sure.
So,
yeah, part of the mob.
So you're saying that the fight has officially started?
It is officially started. Yep.
Okay. Well, I will hang back then.
Okay. So Bruce and Balrog, you guys are hanging back.
Yes.
Okay. Steve, you were in the middle of this, but just kind of acting like you're fighting, but not really fighting. Just
Right.
kind of putting on a show. Okay. Bruce and Balrog, since you have been so happily to stay in the back, you two immediately need to roll for initiative, please.
Oh, great. We're going to get attacked.
Steve, also roll for initiative, but you will be at disadvantage.
Oh. Wonderful.
100%. Isn't
Come
this
on,
just
roller.
fantastic, family? Our first bit of battle. Oh boy. While you guys are rolling,
You're joking.
I am going to I'm going to take off the headset real quick and make sure the camera moves so that we don't get kicked. Okay.
Did you roll another 20?
No, I rolled a 1 and a 3.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, man.
If you roll two 20s, I'm going to have to ask you to roll something else.
I rolled a 1 and a 3.
That's fantastic. Okay. 1 and a 3. So, Steve, you have a 1. Balrog, what did you got?
17.
Okay, Brucey?
19.
Okay. For initial order, Bruce, Balrog, the two people you'll be fighting. The third person is fighting, but it will be fighting Steve directly. So, Steve, your guy is going to go first before you, just so you guys know. I'm playing this by memory here, so please correct me if I get out of order, okay?
Alrighty.
All right, so Bruce and Balrog, as you are in the back and everybody is fighting in front of you, two initial flanks of 4 men come around out of an alley and begin to surround behind the mob. So now there is 8 men behind you, and a couple of them begin to rush towards you as you guys whip back around. Bruce, you get to do whatever you can at first, as you are using your fists only, and Balrog, you do have your Morning Star.
I would like to rage.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Full-on rage.
Yep. And I get a +3 to melee damage.
Yep.
now. So, right. So I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm raged. My fist is up. I'm ready to box.
You are going to box twice. You're going to hit
Right.
twice. So let's go ahead and roll to hit. Roll those d20s, add your strength.
Oh, hey, before this really pops off proper, I have a quick question.
Sure.
Did we rest between last
Yes.
episode and this episode?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right.
You don't know that you did, but you did.
Okay.
You'll find out soon. Silly
Do I have my spell
Steve.
slots back is my question.
Yeah, your question is valid. Yes, you do.
All right.
I got to find I'm hoping I can find my water glass on my desk somewhere. There it is. Did somebody just try to speak?
It seemed like it.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
That's bad news, Bears. He might have had a complete outage. Okay, we're going to do this. Balrog, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so while he's figuring out what happened to his computer, Balrog, you're going to go up first. Go ahead. You know this gentleman is coming at, swords reared back. He's coming in for a swing. So you get first attack, though.
So I'm gonna I'm gonna use Oscar's swipe
Yeah.
with per wing. Haven't been able to use that yet. So I
Yeah.
think that'd be pretty cool. So my intention would be to use his right wing first, and then use the left wing after that.
Okay. Love it. Go ahead to hit. I don't remember the stats off the top of my head for the wings, so.
It was so for the wings, we called it the swipe attack.
Mhm.
It's +8 and then 2d6.
Okay, +8. What'd you roll to hit on these guys?
24.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay, and then let me roll my 2d6 here.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh, boy.
All right, so a total of 11.
Wow. Yeah. You swipe immediately on the first guy that's running towards you specifically, and the swipe is so heavy and deep, the talon, the front talon swipes across so deep in his chest that you immediately put him to the ground. He doesn't die. He was knocked down immediately. You can then use your other swipe to go for him or at the guy that's going for Balrog.
You mean Bruce?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. I'll go to the.
Yep.
Since that
Hey,
other
guys,
guy,
I'm
that
back.
other guy is
Okay.
prone, I'll use the other swipe to get at the other guy.
Okay, great. Go ahead and swing on the other guy.
Righty.
Alrighty.
So that is a 21 to hit.
Okay. 21
Is that-
does hit. Go ahead and
Okay.
roll it.
8.
8 damage.
8 damage.
Two things. Hold on. Bruce, whenever you're ready, just tell me and I'll send you an invite.
Yep.
Balrog, your swipe is heavy across the face of this guy, and instead it doesn't scrape across his face to do massive damage. Your swipe actually just decks the dude. And just because it's not a precise nature of the swipe, and so
Right.
the swipe comes across, and he's shortened the distance so much that it, more or less the knuckle of the foot just knocks him the f out. And because it's a left swipe, I believe it's a left swipe, right? This one was left.
Yep.
Yeah,
correct.
because it's a left, you knock him in such a way that he falls over and mounts his other buddy, so they're on top of each other.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Nice.
I will send you an invite. Steve, the gentleman comes towards you. He doesn't have a sword out as he was disarmed. He goes in for a swing and tries to hit you for 14. Does that hit?
That ties my AC.
So it does hit.
Okay.
And it does 6 damage as he comes across with a right heavy hook and nails you in the jaw. You immediately
Alright.
get to riposte, as now is your turn.
Hold please, I'm applying damage. Okay. Well, he hit me, so this is gonna pop off now.
You are in a massive crowd. It's like you're in a mosh pit, so do what you want.
Yep. It's gonna be 4th level Chaos Bolt.
Oh my god.
So
So
get-
soon.
Bruce, I
I
don't
gotta
see you
roll.
online,
Yeah.
just so you're aware.
I'm online. I can see you guys.
There you go. I got you. Okay. Go ahead, Steve.
hold please.
Okay.
I have to set up all the dice.
Oh, Jesus.
So that is a 23 to hit. I assume that does it.
That 100% hits, yes.
Okay, and now I roll 2d8 plus 46.
My God. You would have to roll so low for this not to just destroy this dude.
All right.
Let's see it.
Hang
Let's see
on.
it. Welcome back, Bruce.
Oh gosh, sorry.
2d8 plus 4d6.
I have my dice rolls. I don't know if it's necessary.
Yeah.
It says like Steve's
Hold on.
killed everyone.
Hold on.
That is going to be 20.
Okay.
Hang on. What type of damage is it? Just for flavor. Either a 5 or a 6. We'll say lightning damage.
Lightning.
Ooh.
Beautiful. Does it bounce, Steve? I need to know.
Empower your friend. Empower your friend. Empower your friend.
It does not bounce. Okay.
Ah!
Bruce, before I get to you, Steve, this is what happens. This guy comes out of the crowd. You weren't looking at him, and you look like one of the mobsters. He has lost his weapon and immediately goes for a right jab. He connects with your jaw so hard with a downward punch that you spin around a full 360, and with this agile kind of craziness that you like to pull out sometimes, you spin around with a 360 and you smack his ass. When you spin around, and with the smack, you expel a 4th level chaos bolt of electricity, stunning the guy, but immediately out of his mouth, he shoots a bit of electricity with a cough. His body goes cold and falls over.
You just ass slap killed that guy.
I kind of just look at my hand like, damn.
Bruce, back to you.
Yep.
What's happened is Balrog, in front of you, you kind of like freeze up for a moment. Balrog went first. He did a right swipe and then a left swipe with the feet of his wonderful bird. The first swipe was so deep that the first guy went down face first, not dead. The second guy got knocked out, and now they're laying like on top of each other. But the guy on the bottom is still awake, but he can't move. He's pinned. So, Bruce, it is your turn. There's still 6 guys in front of you, and they all have their swords, but it's up to you what you want to do.
So I'm going to walk up to the closest guy in front of me, and I just got my fist. Does he have a shield?
No, these guys just have swords out. They have swords.
I want to right hook the guy in the face, the one the closest to me. And
Okay.
I rolled a 25 to hit.
Okay,
For that
so
one?
let me 100%. I'm totally going to allow this to happen, and this is now happening. But I just want to point. I'm going to paint the picture post you stating this. There was a line of people behind you, right? There's 8 dudes. 2 of them went forward with swords about 8 feet to you guys. The birds swipe both of them down. You then rush towards the line of the 6 dudes with swords with your fists out and just jump in javelin MMA style. What was the first to hit? What was the first to hit?
26.
Yeah, you hit this first dude who they were all kind of stunned that this giant dude is rushing them. You nail the first dude with what kind of damage?
Bludgeoning, I would have to.
Yeah, it's bludgeoning.
It's bludgeoning. What's the amount? Sorry.
Come on, dice. There we go. Let me look at my sheet real quick. I'll do a 6. So an 8 with the first hit.
Okay, and are you going with the second on the same dude?
We're going with the second one, same
Okay.
dude. And that one would be a 6 plus 6, 12. The second hit.
Okay, you come across the first punch, and the guy's neck kind of spins that direction really fast, and you come with your left hand, and you hit the jaw in the same place, so his neck was already overextended, and you hit him in the jaw, and the neck extends further with a nice crack as you broke the guy's neck with a boom, boom, and the guy's neck spins and falls immediately dead, and you look over, and the other 5 dudes throw down their swords and begin running.
Who wants some? Do you want some of me?
The guy that's now underneath his buddy, who is badly hurt, is like, I'm still alive down here! Help me! You guys have quelled the back. Steve, you have vanquished the guy that was next to you. You hear a voice out front, Girth's voice, and you hear a bunch of yelling, and then you hear Sheldon go, everybody stop, stop! And so people are starting to, like, actually stop fighting. There's some conversations going on. The mob is quelled for a minute. There's a lot of casualties. At least 12 people up front were stabbed and are dead now as workers. Girth is what you can see from the back as you guys turn around. Girth is on the steps of the town hall, and Sheldon's next to him, and they're talking. What do you guys like to do?
I'd like to go up because I'm trotting on Oscar to trot up to see what they're talking about.
Sure. You trot on up there. What are you, Steve? Are you still staying incognito?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Bruce?
I'll follow up behind Balrog, and I'm just have some spit coming out of my mouth. 'Cause I'm still a little bit raging. It's kind of like, oh yeah, I feel good.
Yeah.
So just kind of trotting behind him.
As you trot up there, Bruce, Steve, what did you say you were doing? I'm so sorry.
I'm just hiding, trying to get a little bit closer so I can listen, but not being conspicuous.
Sure. So before you decide to do that, let me make sure to let you know what's happening. As you trot up and Bruce has got a nice little jog behind, you see Sheldon look over and look at you guys and just says, "Come on, we're going to go talk. Come on inside." Seeing that it's you. And he goes, "Where's Steve?"
Oh, I don't know. We lost him. Like I broke my leg and he's gone.
Sheldon then screams out, "Steve! Steve! Where, did anybody say Steve?" And, Girth looks over and goes, I haven't seen Steve in a while, no. Oh, man, that hurt my voice.
Here's a question.
Yes.
Is there anywhere I could hide for about 3 seconds?
Sure. The crowd's still very prominent around you. You can absolutely 100% crouch down without anybody seeing you and do what you need to do and not be seen.
Wonderful. I am going to crouch down.
Okay.
I'm going to cast Greater Invisibility on myself.
Okay.
Oh my god.
And I am going to follow them in.
Okay, yeah. You crouch down as if you're going to tie your shoes, and you disappear. And make your way through the crowd, and people are like, what the hell? And make your way to them.
You see footsteps trotting through the mud with nobody attached to them.
Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm going to take off my sweatshirt. Give me 2 seconds.
Just dies.
Just dies completely.
Falls over. Steve, you are in the table right now. There you go.
I was leaning forward.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah, when I lean forward, it gets weird too. There you go. That's nice. It's real good.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I was getting very warm sitting here. Okay, so you guys are following in. You two, Balrog and Bruce, you're following Sheldon and Girth. Girth is in the front, and you're following back to Girth's office. Steve, you are very sneakily staying invisible. Can you look at the spell really quick and make sure that I don't think it says anything about sound with greater invisibility?
It does not. So do I need to make a stealth check?
I'm going to need 2 different stealth checks, and the difference is there's 2 doors. There's the front door so that you can sneak in behind somebody so that the door doesn't close on you, and then there's another door going into Girth's office that you're going to try to sneak through as well to see if anybody hears it. There's a number, and the number is Girth's perception that you're trying to beat.
Girth's
So
passive perception?
That is correct. Oh my lord, not again.
That happened to me.
I've got...
You like my ass?
I do. I mean, there's not much that, but yeah. You work with what you got.
Okay. I've got a 12 for the first one and a 20 soft for the second.
Okay. Jesus, you guys are so freaking lucky. It's crazy. So
I have a decent stealth, actually.
It's so crazy. You guys have met my DCs that I pre-planned like twice now. Twice. Oh no, not again. All right, I'm back. All right, so Bruce, you follow behind Balrog. Balrog, you cannot bring the bird in, so you're gonna have to dismount and either leave him back there or send him home. Which do you prefer, Balrog?
Dismount.
Okay, you dismount, leave him outside. You're behind Sheldon. Sheldon's behind Girth, and you're following in. The receptionist is there, and she's asking Girth, like, is everything okay? Everything's outside. There's a bunch of noise, yada, yada, yada. Oh, goodness. There we go. So, you guys make your way back into Girth's office. There is only 2 chairs, so Sheldon takes one. Who wants to sit?
I'll sit.
Okay, Balrog sits. Bruce, you're going to have to stand. Steve,
I'll just stand in the corner.
The first door, you're able to make it into the door, but Girth does kind of give a quick glance back. You make it in the first door just fine. The second door, you make it in with such an ease that nobody hears your footsteps. You're matching the footsteps of Bruce as he is a loud stepper. As you guys,
is he behind me?
he is close to you. I'm not going to give you a direction.
I just fart.
Jesus.
Sorry. There's a turkey leg snuck up on me. My bad, gosh.
Bruce, please.
As you guys are sitting there, the conversation begins as Sheldon's talking to Girth. Before I go on, this office is very lavish. As being the proprietor of the entire city, he has gold statues on the walls, like little figurines. You have a nice wood inlay full executive desk sitting in front of you. The chairs are very ornate, the two that are in front of you, Bruce, and you're standing. And as you're trying to take a look around the room, a lot of time has gone into this room to make it look a very specific way that doesn't match the decor of any other building or thing that you've ever seen as far as the city goes. This is the style that you see is very different. On his desk, you have... One second, Steve. On his desk, there are a few things. There's a couple of pens, an inkwell for the pens. You have a tablet of paper, parchment paper, and in the center, there is a triangle with a little indentation on the top and a circle, a perfect cube, a perfect circle that is very shiny in nature. It's very silvery ball sitting on top of the triangle, and that is in the middle of the table. Steve, you had a question?
Yeah. So greater invisibility lasts a minute. So is there something? You said it's lavish. Is there something I can hide behind, or am I just going to be in there?
There are two curtains on either side of Girth. You could technically, because of how thick the curtains are, you might be able to sneak behind the curtain, and then your feeties will stick out, but maybe no one will see.
Okay.
Oh, wait, Steve, you work in an office very close by. There's the secret chamber that connects his office to yours that you've been working on for a while that I haven't been able to tell you about, and that's how you've been shuffling some of the money off. You could 100% go out of the room somehow and go into the secret chamber, which is basically just a fake wall that's into his office. You could be there.
Yeah, let's give that a try.
Okay, so we would retcon the fact of you getting in the second room, okay? So you instead use your minute to go into your room, go behind the bookshelf, which the secret book that you pull to open the bookshelf is what?
God, what's something he'd never read?
How to be smart.
I would not read.
Goblin smut.
Yeah, you know what? It's Goblin Smut. It's a Goblin Smut manga.
Goblin smut manga, I love it. Okay, you pull it back, and the door actually moves itself, and oops, my phone is going off. And you make your way up to about 10 feet to the next wall, which is kind of like a makeshift shaft that you've been digging out for a while. And you get to the wall, which you can hear through the whole conversation.
Excellent.
Okay, so that's what's going on. Sheldon has a conversation with Girth and basically goes, Sheldon says, we just really want to know about the sisters. That's what we're here for. That's the whole reason. We wanted the sisters. And as he's speaking about the sisters, he drops a term that you guys have yet to hear about the wardens. We heard that there were 2 wardens here, and we need your help. We're trying to find them. We need to take them back home, dead or alive. And Girth, he's not really fazed by this conversation. He doesn't really make any visual differences. He looks over at all three of you kind of checking your faces. Bruce, I'm going to ask you a question. Are you intrigued at all by the ball on the desk?
Yes.
Okay.
Bruce likes bright, shiny things.
He, while Sheldon's talking, Girth looks over at Bruce. Oh, I see, you're eyeing my ball. Would you like to hold it? And he grabs the ball and then puts out his hand to give it to you.
Oh, sure, thanks. So I reach my hand out.
It's very rare. And he dumps the ball into your hand. And as he dumps the ball into your hand, a extremely bright light begins to
great.
almost wind up for a quick second, and the light is so incredibly bright that it's basically like, think of Men in Black, right? Like Men in Black, just boom, white light. Your eyes immediately go white. What you see, Balrog, Sheldon, Bruce, the three of you can only see perfectly white. You were paralyzed, and in that white, you could hear. And you hear Girth get up from his chair and chuckle to himself as he walks over. And you feel the weight of the ball leave your hand, Bruce, and then clink back onto the center of his desk. Hold on. Just hold for a second. I gotta move my notes. Girth gets up from his chair, which you guys cannot see, but rather you just hear Girth say, well, yep, that one's got to go. And he, for you guys, even though you can't see it, Steve, you through a little crack in the wall, you can see Girth standing in front of them and just waving his hands. And when he waves his hands, he says, that one's got to go. That one's got to go. Oh, that one's definitely got to go. And you see that his eyes are also white. And when he says, oh, yeah, that one's got to go, Steve, all of a sudden, you can't remember the name of Babushka. Bruce, you cannot remember how you got out of a jail cell. Oh, yep, that one's definitely got to go. Balrog, you suddenly cannot remember your first love's name. That one's... Oh, I don't even know why that one's important. That one's got to go, though. Steve, now you cannot remember your actual last name.
Oh.
Well, that one's obviously got to go, too. Bruce, your parents' faces begin to fade.
Oh, no.
This one should do it. Balrog, you cannot remember the last time Babushka was checked for an STI. This goes on and on and on as you are stuck in this white light, unable to move, and the memories that are being pulled are instantly, you are given the memory for a second, and then it fades. And as you see the memory, or the words, the people, it then goes away. This goes on a little bit until you hear a, "Gotcha, bitch!" And in an instant, the pure white completely fades. And as your eyes, you blink a bit and you come back to and you feel your arms move, you hear a thud. And Sheldon has a dagger in the middle of the back of Girth, who is slumped over the table, bleeding tremendously. The back of Girth's jacket is just drenched in blood and beginning to pool on the table. All three of you give me perception checks. At disadvantage.
Alrighty.
At disadvantage.
This dagger has a certain look to it that I want to explain, and the amount of detail that I will give one of you will be determined upon what you see, because you're at disadvantage because your eyes are so hurt. Except for Steve.
Steve.
Am I not at disadvantage?
You are not at disadvantage. You were still affected by the memories, but you are not at disadvantage because the amount of light that penetrated through the crack when you were looking was enough to activate the spell, but not enough to ruin your vision for an amount of time.
Fantastic. All right. Well, it's not a 14 then. It's a soft 20.
Okay.
12.
12.
5.
Okay, Bruce, you do not notice this, so please disregard any of the next information until it is important for you.
Yes, sir.
Balrog and Steve, you notice in the dagger is shaped very strangely. As the hilt of the dagger, there is a rounded front to the hilt of the dagger, kind of like a saber would have, and on the front of the saber, there is a certain type of inscription. In the hilt of the handle, it's normal leather wrapped, but at the base of the handle, at the bottom of the hilt. The pommel. Thank you, pommel. The pommel actually has a greenish crystal in the base of it. And the crystal is about 2 inches long and is very bright. Bruce, you're not so much not noticing that there's a dagger, you're just not noticing the details in which I'm telling. You know that there's a dagger in his back.
Right.
The greenish dagger in the rock of the hilt, as you watch the green dagger, it begins to turn darker and darker. And the blood that's actually spilling out in front of you begins to reverse backwards. And the blood is now flowing back towards the body. And as the blood's flowing back towards the body, the green gem is beginning to turn darker and darker. Sheldon he's on the table. He has 1 foot on the back of this guy, and he's looking very proud. He goes, well, I didn't get lost an eye for anything. All I had to do was close one eye. And, I figured out he was probably doing this to you guys, but I had to make sure for real. It worked out.
What was she doing to her, Sheldon?
Well, he was stealing your memories. He was wiping your guys' memories. He must have figured out what we were trying to do here. And so, instead of just killing you, he wanted to use you. I'll explain it here in a second. This is almost done. And he looks down, kind of like a timer, at the green crystal. It's getting darker and darker and darker. The green gem begins to turn an almost pure black. And all of a sudden, it just shatters, leaving the pommel empty. Sheldon pulls out the blade out of Girth's back, and as the wound... as he pulls it out, this dagger is about 12 inches long. It's a very long dagger. He pulls it out as it basically pinned him to the actual table. With a quick speed, the blood dissipates from the back of the jacket, and the hole sews itself back up as he pulls the dagger out. He goes, ding, it's done! He pulls the blade out of Girth, and the wound heals itself as if he was never even stabbed. Sheldon then kicks Girth back into his chair, and so now his body flops back in the chair, head back, and he hops into his lap. He puts his hand on Girth's mouth and begins to act like the words are coming out from Girth. I'm a giant dick! I've been playing with your memories since you got here. I'm working for the Avalon, yada, 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 and been helping the sisters since they arrived because I'm a giant pussy. Never refuse anything the warden's asked of me. And he's making him act like he's talking the entire time. Sheldon goes on to explain a bit, and we're going to have that conversation. Is there a tiny bit of anything you three want to do at this time? Steve, you're still in the wall.
Yeah, Steve's good here.
Oh, no. Okay, Steve's good there. Okay.
I want to ask Sheldon some more questions about the dagger.
Oh, my Lord. You want to ask some questions about the dagger. Okay. Oop, I almost got it. I don't know why it's trying to turn me. It's very confusing. There we go. Okay, what's your question?
What is with crystal on the pommel?
Well, I wasn't expecting to have to explain this all again since, you guys were kind of the reason we came here in the first place. What is happening? Sorry, fam. It is freaking my character out. I don't know what's going on. It's like my controllers have loosened themselves. Oh, it's it's like throwing me around the room. Okay. Well, all right, let me just start from the top. Oh my god.
Are they dying? Could be dying.
I think I was just accidentally pressing something. Let me
Saving Arcana will return in 5 minutes.
How about I just stand here for a second, okay? Since
Okay,
it's
that's fine.
trying to do this. It just
Tell us what's going on.
it just
You're
threw
fine.
me
We
in the
can
back
look
of the
at it.
room.
We can
It's
look at
what? I have no. My character is literally running around the room on itself.
Oh, he's behind the bar.
All right. Well, let me tell you probably what was happening, and I need my notes more than ever. Is
Okay.
probably actually, it's probably was taking the. Oh yeah, it's the Microsoft Edge. It's the
Oh, yeah.
it's the app.
Move it.
It's moving
Yeah.
me. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you guys from
You're good.
a corner
That's fine.
for right now.
From here now.
Well, sadly, yes. Specifically because I can't move. And I also need to bring up my notes so I get all the information that you guys need. So,
Tell us the story.
yeah, I'm going to tell you the story. Hold on. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you good.
Oh, yeah, I like it when you give it to me good.
Well, now you just made it weird.
Did I, though?
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. That's so weird. All right, let me pull up the notes here because the page closed. Yeah, sorry, fam.
It's trying to push you back further.
It can't. I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, I was about to say, any further, you're going to be outside of the room.
Yeah, right. All right. So, Sheldon goes on to explain a bit about what the Wardens of Avalon are. So, he mentioned two phrases that I want to make sure we all understand. Avalon and Wardens. Well, all right. Well, you know, we flew. You killed the god, right? you killed him. We showed up. We saved your asses. By the way, this was 6 months ago. We got on my ship, the Golden Showers, and we flew to this plane.
Sorry.
So, you know, we're flying on this ship, and you guys are like, oh, what do we do now? And I'm like, well, you're joining the Dominion, that's for sure, because you guys are good. And remember, the Senate, there was an assassination in the Senate, and now there's no more Senate. There was a guy trying to take over, yada, yada, yada. They created Avalon. That's pretty much the new one that's been going around for the last 5 months. Well, what they did was they took all the Senate and all their basically bases across the plains, and they've been spreading their Kool-Aid like crazy. Well, unfortunately, the Avalon has wardens, and the wardens are basically their kill group. We don't know how many wardens are out there, but it's the Dominion's goal right now to take care, aka capture or kill, the wardens. The wardens are really big deals, all right? And so when they show up somewhere and we get some news, we got to check it out. Well, we were flying on Golden Showers, and you guys were like, let us help. And, you know, good old Sheldon, I tried to do my best. Well, you three volunteered to go check out a tip that we got that, hey, Town Girth, they got a warden. So what do? We come up with a plan. You three volunteered to be dropped off here in Town Girth 5 months ago to infiltrate it and report back to me. But that was 5 months ago. I got tired of waiting. So I came back to check up on you three, and what do I find? Explosions, terrorism, and you three numbnuts having a great time. I don't know you three and got your memories wiped. That makes sense. But this ball face here, and he's moving his Girth's mouth, must have figured it all out that, you're here to kind of spy, and then wiped out your guys' memories instead of killing you. You just, he made you guys his little bitches. So he just rather keep you. Well, that's probably why he gave you, pointing to Balrog, your, the money to open the brothel, because who doesn't love a brothel? But for you guys, I have no idea what you guys been up to.
Well, I've been killing monsters. Other than that, I don't fucking remember any of this.
I'm gonna get up from my chair and just smack Girth across the face.
Sure, you walk up and you smack the lifeless body and it
Do you
now
feel better?
Sheldon kicks him as well. He goes, "Yeah, take that, you dick." And then he says, "Well, he won't be hurting you anymore. Obviously, he's physically incapable. But okay? So you asked me about the dagger. It's pretty simple. I put a certain kind of crystal in the pommel, and it actually extracts Avalon's Kool-Aid." And he puts his hands up and makes air quotes. The Kool-Aid they make the people drink from the body, but it kind of puts them in a small coma. It really depends how long they are asleep for. And, well, once the Kool-Aid's out, they're good. But, they gotta sleep. So this guy, he's gonna be sleeping. His jaw's gonna hurt, but,
Wait a minute. He's not dead.
Oh, no, he's not dead. I healed him.
Oh. Hi, Balrog. Open his mouth. I'm going to take a dump in his mouth.
Oh my
Bonus,
god!
please. This is why we do not invite you.
It's going to be real funny when he wakes up and goes, why does my mouth taste like shit? He goes, I know why.
I'm going to cast Downpour over Girth, so it rains on him.
Why?
Because it's funny.
Okay.
I want to poop in his mouth. I think that's funnier.
Well, Sheldon is on his lap, so you're going to be raining on Sheldon, too.
Perfect.
Okay. You cast this, and is there a somatic version? Is there a somatic portion to Downpour? Do you have to say any words? Does it say somatic on the spell?
It does, but I'm going to use Subtle Spell.
Oh, okay. Of course. So you begin saying these, but you say it so far in your breath that no one can hear you, and a small cloud appears above Sheldon, and Sheldon hops out of the way, knowing what this is, and Rain, as you are three standing in front of a man who is lifeless and leaning back in a chair, has a rain cloud above him, raining on him as Bruce starts to take off his pants. Sheldon says, "Well, I mean, he might not be dead, but I like this is where this is going." And he also takes off his pants and he begins to piss on the floor. The dagger is on his back, and the dagger does not have a crystal. And so as Bruce is taking a dump on him, because taking a dump in his mouth is not possible, Bruce. It's not possible.
Oh, come on.
You take a dump on his lap, and now there's a nice,
All right.
very nice turd on his. It is big. It is big.
That's what it deserves for sticking my memories.
What you gotta think of though is, like this Kool-Aid, the Avalon's Kool-Aid. It's kind of like a brain control fluid. We don't really know how it works, but think of it kind of like a hive mind situation where if something happens, the other people know. So that's the only thing that we've known is kind of when you extract somebody and take the fluid away, like they all know that now this guy doesn't have the fluid. So
Wait a minute. So are they on the way to get us right now?
well, no, it doesn't. Probably not. But the good thing is they know that he's been changed. So kind of like how you take a guy to the cops and then, the gang kills the guy because they don't want him talking. Well, they're going to take care of this guy regardless because I didn't have to kill him, but I also don't want to kill the guy. But if they kill him, that's on them.
Should we take him with us? Are we leaving? Is his
Oh, yeah.
information
Screw
vital?
this guy. No, I don't want you to talk to him. Basically, just the liquid stuff, that the Kool-Aid, we're just going to call it the Kool-Aid. It basically just allows them all to communicate with Daddy. That's what we've heard, but we don't know who Daddy is or whatever.
Well, that sounds real dirty.
Sheldon, perhaps if we take liquid to petrol, he might be able to examine it.
Well, I mean, that's the point of the cube. We don't have any liquid. The crystal extracts the liquid, the Kool-Aid from the body, and then it shatters. It's just kind of like a removal process, kind of like a sweeper, but we don't have any of the liquid. I mean, I guess you could take the crystal, but I don't think that'll work. It's worth a try.
This presents problem because we do not know where even petrol is at.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty big problem. I sent Petrol on a quest. He should have been back a while ago.
What?
Well, I mean, he pulled me to the side and said, in my best robot voice, like, my daddy doesn't like me. I have to do my own thing. And, yeah, that kind of stuff.
I treat Petro very fine.
Well, I don't know how your parenting style's different than mine. I'm sure my little ones, you gotta show them who's boss, but you do your own thing. Put them in the corner. It's fine.
Petro always asks me if he can do something before he does it.
Well, that's good, but he didn't ask you this time. So I wanted to help him out. It's kind of like uncle situation. I feel like I'm his uncle. So I sent him on a little quest, and he told me to not tell you specifically, and that he'll show up when he's ready, when he's got the thingy? I don't know. He asked for a couple of books, though.
Can I roll an insight check to see if he's lying?
Absolutely. He wanted some funny smut, robot smut. It was kind of weird.
I rolled 18.
18. He's telling the truth that what is being said. He's not lying to you, but he is not trying to tell you for some reason.
All right.
So, I'm not going to say that's probably a bad idea to stick around here, but the whole reason we came to this spot was to find the sisters. They're two wardens, and we got a good idea that they were here. Have you guys heard of anyone that fits that kind of bill?
Well, considering the fact that we've had our memories wiped and this is the clearest our minds have thought for 5-6 months, probably not.
Well, well, I tell you what, okay, let me do this. He goes behind and ruffles in the pockets of Girth, and he pulls out the contraption that you guys saw him use on the two guards at the jail. And he goes, "Does this look familiar?" And it doesn't to you guys because you don't have that memory.
Right.
And then you guys all kind of like look blank at him. He goes, "All right, all right." He takes a core out of his back pocket, and he loads a core, and the core specifically is red of nature. And the core goes into the back of the contraption that looks like a gun, but it doesn't actually have the front of the gun. It's just more of a hilt and a large contraption on the front of it. It's squarish in nature and has a couple of little pipes coming out the top, bottom, and front. He loads the contraption, and he points it towards the two of you and goes, "Well, I kind of wish Steve was here," and pulls the trigger. When he pulls the trigger, a bright light flashes, and you guys begin, in the next couple minutes, begin flooding all the memories that you had that had been taken back into your brain. So it's going to take a few minutes for your brain to kind of cope with the fact of, oh, this happened then, I now have this memory. But Balrog and Bruce, you both have, your memories have been returned.
Dad, I miss my mom and dad.
I now remember when Babushka got last tested for STI. It's been too long.
All right, Steve walks out of his hiding place around the hallway and back into the room.
Of course he does.
Steve!
Fully visible and undisguised.
That's really funny.
Oh, Steve, so nice of you to join us.
Oh, I've been here like the whole time.
What? You haven't been hanging out?
I've been invisible.
I want to be invisible.
I would imagine Steve said that so sarcastically.
So sarcastically. I was invisible.
I was invisible. Duh.
I'm a sorcerer. God.
So, as you are reconvened with the group and everybody's hugging, and Steve, Sheldon kind of brings you up to speed since he's like, well, this is what's happened, and you're just, I'm guessing you're kind of like nodding as if you don't know. So you get to the point that you're caught up, and he then loads another red core and then tells you two, Bruce and Balrog, to close your eyes, and then shoots it. A bright light appears, and Steve, the next couple minutes, your memories do come back. You remember your last name, you remember the last 6 months, you remember the conversations and the golden showers and the reason you guys are here.
All right. Upon remembering his last name, Steve reverts to full depressed. just full on.
That's right. I'm a failure.
So,
Jesus.
Steve,
I mean, in my backstory, he's actually kind of correct.
Steve,
I know.
Yes.
you now remember all the things that happened. Steve, you specifically started an underground cell of elves. You've been funding a little establishment of 4 to 6 elves that have been staying outside of Girth that you have been giving money to in order to wreak havoc on Girth's town without knowing, so that you can hopefully bring the wardens and flush them out.
You're the terrorist cell organizer.
Steve, without knowledge of knowing how the wardens work, you heard a story one night that the wardens act sometimes when a town is under the Avalon's protection. They send wardens to take care of issues. And you thought the best way to bring them here would be to cause some acts of terrorism. So you found some radicals, funded their way, and they have been, this is the 3rd bombing this year. You have not been able, you would have stopped them as you felt bad, and when you found out what they were doing, because you had asked them to rough up some people, not blow up and cause a bunch of casualties, but before you could go stop this, your memory was wiped. So, they continued with the acts of terrorism, and they still think that this is what you want.
Wonderful.
That's bringing you up to speed.
High
Anybody else
five,
hear the
Steve.
Always
Good
Sunny
job.
theme? Steve
Yeah.
funds Al Qaeda.
Yes.
Fantasy Al Qaeda.
High five, Steve. You're a terror master.
Balrog, you needed a business to be able to, the best way to hear from your background, the best way to hear whether or not who's doing what and where is to be in a brothel. So you thought, why don't I just start one and then I'll control everything? So you knew sex was going to ultimately control the town, so that's why you began your path to do that. Bruce, you had heard that some of the strongest people in the town were hunters, and so you figured, well, I will join them and maybe buddy up with some of these guys, and once I have their trust and their little gang, since there's only a few hunters, maybe I could then figure out if there's any wardens here or whatever. And also, your thought was, if there is wardens here, they're going to have to be very strong, so a hunter's probably what they were. Yes. Bruce, you actually found the wardens. They were the 2 sisters that one night after being out on a hunt, you realized that the 2 people that were most quiet, that looked like men the entire time, who concealed their hair, concealed their face, their body form with large coats. You got a glimpse of an eye for once and realized that this beautiful eye that could only be to an elvish woman was actually the hunters that always stuck together and never spoke. Bruce, you figured it out and loudly spoke about this, in which the sisters did not respond and told Girth about this, which then he wiped your memory. So between Balrog, Steve, and Bruce, you have at different points infiltrated, like you should, and then did things out of the normal, which Girth had no idea that you guys were working together, but you all made mistakes to the point that he said, oh, that's enough, and wiped your memories for different reasons. So,
Makes sense.
So what you're saying is that because Bruce couldn't control himself yet again, he wound up in jail, and we got our memories wiped.
Well, to be fair, Balrog, the way that you lost your memory is kind of funny. Babushka wasn't yours, and you had seduced Babushka,
You gross man.
who was the caretaker of Girth's home. and you had fallen in love with her, and she left her job to be with you. And so, because Girth said, well, that's not cool, he, out of somewhat jealousy, wiped your memory so that Babushka wouldn't say anything, but so you wouldn't understand that you stole a woman from him.
A 60-year-old grandma woman. Congratulations,
Well,
Balrog.
who you fall in love with, you can't help. You know, you can't help that.
Damn.
So Sheldon takes out the dagger and he's talking to you guys, and he's filling in the gaps, and the door opens to the room, kind of busts open, and what you see in front of you is, Bruce, you now remember, it is Erin, and she went by Erin, and that is one of the sisters. And let me explain to you her demeanor. She has 2 large overcoats on with a hood up. Her hair is barely poking through. She always wears a bandana around her lower face. That is gone. You see a beautiful elvish woman, but her physical form is that of more of Bruce, a brute, a very large bodybuilder. And then within an instant, she takes off the first coat, pulls back the hood, and reveals an instant change from a beautiful elvish woman with a large demeanor to a dainty, small, 6'4", fiendish devil bearing 2 horns that grow in front of you and 2 hellish wings that pull out behind. And she pulls out a small hilt from her belt and whips down, and instantly a magma-like snake-long whip pulls out. And she looks at the 3 of you and just says, "Wait till my sister gets here," and starts to whip at the 3 of you.
Oh.
And that is where we're going to end today's episode.
Yay!
All right.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
I like Mission Impossible, Steve.
Dun, 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 dun. All right, I'm going to have to turn around here. You guys can all sit there still. I'm just going to jump out like an idiot. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. All right. I'm going to just probably go bye-bye here in a second. Who knows? This character is freaking out, man. All right. So thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Ooh, that's my chin. Thank you so much for stopping by for this next edition of wonderful Saving Arcana. We have a great time. Hopefully my players had a good time. I had a hell of a good time doing this. Thank you all the watchers out there. I don't have a thing up. Otherwise, I would shout out to you guys. Thank you so very much to our listeners. You guys are awesome. We're going to try to do this every 2 weeks on here in D&D, in VR. So if you guys had a good time, please drop a follow, subscribe. We can't do that yet, but do all the good stuff. We have Save Your Arcana everywhere. If you want to catch up with the old story, this is season 2. Season 1 is 23 episodes long. You can find us on YouTube and listen and watch there because we have video. You can do it on the podcast. There's so many ways to consume us. So I just appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you so very much. Thank you to my players, Balrog, Steve, Bruce. You guys are incredible. And lastly, but not the end, this is our story as much as it is yours. This is Saving Arcana, and we love you. Have a good one, everyone. We will see you next time. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.